Good morning, creators. This is My Shark back with another video, and today I'm going to show you how to build really good terrain in Fortnite Creative. To begin, we're going to make a terrain circle, which is pretty basic. You just take this corner piece and rotate it in a circle. This is just a piece that is used for many major builds, and I'm going to build a square piece. This is just a demonstration of how you can use multiple pieces to create a big platform, like this horizontal piece and this floor piece. And you're just going to wrap these terrain pieces around where the terrain piece is. Of course, that square terrain piece is not on the grid, and if you want to align it properly, you're just going to have to place another one nearby, and you're just going to, on grid snap 0 land, just stand on top of it and on top of another terrain piece, and you can place it like that and it should line up perfectly. All I did was just stand on top of the piece when there was a floor below it on grid snap 0. Next, we're going to take a hill piece, and this method I call the armrest method, because you kind of make these armrests or like walls around the hill. This is just one of the ways that you can hide a hill, and it could be like a partial armrest if you want. There's another hill hiding method that I'm going to show you in a bit. Of course, I made these pieces really large just so they're easy to see, but you can have whatever size you want. I recommend resizing them in increments of 5, so if you want to have decent measurements, always increment them always like increase their size or decrease their size by 5 ticks. Now you can take this hill end piece and just line it up with the other one. This is just like it ends the hill in a wall, so it doesn't. You can still see the hill from the side. And if you want to just add the other end to it, all you have to do is take it off grid snap, so grid snap 0, and decrease the width on grid snap 0 until it flips over. This is just a reflection method. And if you want to line up any corner pieces or back pieces, all you have to do is take these pieces and just resize them until it fits with the other curves. If you like the music, it's just my attempt at making some sort of vibe song, like the mushroom songs that they just released. It's just something chill. Alright, that's your hill. Next up, we're going to actually start working on the actual terrain for your BR maps. So you're just going to take one of these circle pieces. I'm going to create 2 platforms wherever I want them, just diagonally, I guess. These are just going to be like guidances for where the hills are going to be. And I'm taking a square piece, and I'm just going to place it in the middle here. We take a hill piece and just create a slope downwards and create one of these ends. Basically, I'm starting to make a beach at the end. I wanted to touch the water, so I'm increasing its size, and we'd have to make the other hill match that. Right. Now I'm going to make another hill, whatever size I want. Probably going to decrease its size a bit, just so that it can line up in between those 2 mountains. That looks a little weird, so I'm just going to take a hill and angle it inwards so it just lines up. Now here's another technique. I call this just terrain angling. You just take a corner piece and you're gonna pitch it. Well, first you're gonna yaw it so that the terrain piece points towards the end. Basically, it just becomes an arrow, and then you're gonna pitch it so it just goes back and forth like this. And you're gonna start with like steep angles at the top, and then level it out as you go to the bottom. This creates depth to your terrain, kind of like a hilly thing rather than just straight walls. And this looks a lot nicer. This is what a lot of people use to create really good terrain. And this is probably the best tool that I'm showing in this video. But there's some other tips, so you might want to stay around. And every time you mess up or stop, you have to redo the setup for it. So just yaw it twice and then pitch it or roll it, depending on where it is. But you should just have it like this. And I'm just gonna create another area, because why not? I can, so I will. I'm re-angling, and I'm gonna create more walls just to add depth. And this helps conceal any of the hills or any of the issues you might find with your maps. And we're gonna keep adding to this, just so it looks nice. Just creating another square. I actually used these terrain tips when I was building the mothership event, which is why the terrain was so accurate to the real map, especially that angling method. And of course, if you want to add more depth, you can just take a circle piece and line it up like this and just put it wherever you want. It doesn't have to be grid snapped all the time, just try and keep it at the same level as the other ones, so there's not like any issues, but you can always experiment. But like that, just conceal that end by adding another circle piece. Anyway, so now I'm going to use one of my favorite techniques, is just create a line where it has two circle pieces at the end and just a middle piece. And you can create a nice, easy barrier with this that's kind of has a little bit of depth. And I'm just gonna create these floors. They're not gonna be lined up at first. We're gonna use the same technique as we have been using. Just try to keep them all at the same level as each other, and once they're all placed down, you can just copy them all. And on grid snap 0, you just fall. And this one was off, so I'm just gonna move forward and then stand on it, grid snap 0, and it's fixed. And if you have an error like this, you can always take a circle piece, line it up. You can always grid snap 0 this too, and it just lines up really nicely like that. It fits very well. And I'm just gonna use more angling because that's just very nice, and you can use this to get into the ocean if you want. And I think this is just a really nice technique to create depth to your terrain. And while I'm doing this, I'm just gonna say that I just want to thank y'all for all the support I've had this past year. I didn't expect my channel to get this far, and I really appreciate it. I have some really big things planned for this season, and if you want to be a part of those things, just join my Discord. The link is going to be in the comments. Just check the pinned comment and join my Discord today. And now it's time to add some nature to it, so I'm going to take some grass and just resize it. I'll deal with this in a moment. But other nature galleries, I'll probably add some of the new props like the bamboo. I'll just resize it a bit, and I'll create a wall with it. I want smaller bamboo though, so we're going to take this instead. I'm just going to create a nice wall. And I want to add a cherry blossom tree, but they actually added a new one, so I'm going to use that one instead. Just going to increase its size, put it in the middle, have that be the focus. I think I'm just going to create another mountain in the background just for a little bit of depth. And here's another tool. You can use these corner pieces to create mountains just by angling them like this. And this is really a subjective thing, so I can't really say what you should do or shouldn't do because it usually just turns out really nice. Just make sure there's none of the sharp edges pointing out. You don't want people to see those. It kind of breaks the illusion. But if people can like turn and see the back of the mountain, then you're doing great. And of course, you can always take these two pieces to create a nice curve, like this. That's just basically the circle piece trick again, like the angling trick, but it's just easier to conceal because you have two curves, a full 180 degrees to work with. And you'll walk around. I'm gonna make a cave for this. You can make whatever you want. You can make a waterfall. You don't even have to have this mountain if you want. I'm just showing you where my brain's at when I'm building these things. And I'm taking this terrain, and we're just gonna finish off the mountain. Even as I'm building this, I realize like the ledges are kind of cool. You can create like secondary caves using this. So you don't always have to like hide the ledges. You can have them. It actually adds more depth to your mountain, so I recommend using them. And of course, if there's any edges pointing out, you can always use rocks or any other pieces to conceal them. Maybe trees, whatever you want. But that actually adds some depth, so I'm just gonna add more bamboo just to conceal the outside. And then we're gonna use another trick. This is the final trick. You just basically take multiple trees, small trees, you resize them, you just rotate them wherever you want and create them in like a group of 3. And you can just copy these and paste them all around, just rotating them differently. This is just an easy way to add nature to your maps, a little bit of depth, because if you had to resize every single tree by itself, it'd be kind of tedious, so this is a very helpful tip. And I'm just gonna add more grass on the dropping mode, just so that I don't have to like line up anything. It just instantly drops to the terrain, and it works out really well, as long as it's not on a hill. It's working out pretty great. And the is looking a little bit more lush. Now I'm going to take some sand dunes, especially this curved piece I like. I'm just going to resize it and decrease the height as much as I can. I'm just going to create this little beach nearby. They're always going to look a little bit weird, but it's kind of up to you how you want to look. You can always try experimenting with the resizing. But eventually you'll have a nice beach around your island. And you can even have like a stone edge to your island if you want. You don't have to have a beach around the entire thing. I believe I do that here too, so. And here's my island. I think it turned out pretty great. If you found this tutorial helpful, please consider subscribing because I have a lot more coming in the future. And I hope y'all have an amazing, amazing day.